This is my A86, although to be honest, right now it's more like a big box of parts that once resembled an A86, and there's a reason for that. Long story short, a while ago the engine blew up, and ever since then I've been waiting on pistons for the motor that I custom ordered and took a lot longer to expect to arrive, and those pistons finally came in. About 3 weeks ago actually, at which point I promptly took them to the machinist and asked when the soonest time was that we could work on it, and he said Saturday. And that was 2 or 3 Saturdays ago. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go down there and we're going to start the process of boring and decking the block so that it's ready to go for building the motor. But before I do, I've got a few little things I need to clean up, mainly this entire desk of parts. First of all, I've got this entire table of parts I need to start cleaning up. Half of this is either junk, old stuff, or I've got new parts, and I just need to sort it all out so that it's not a big mess. And I need the space to work on the motor once it's done. I got a few things I need to take with me tomorrow to the machine shop. The block and crankshaft are already there. This cylinder head is also going to go down there just to clean it up and deck the surface. Maybe we'll check out the valves too. I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll just see when we get there. Okay, here's probably the important bit. First of all, I need to bag and tag everything that's on this head. But more importantly, I've got all of these little buckets here. And inside of these buckets is a little shim. And I need to keep track of which one goes where so that I don't mess with the valve lash. So I'm just going to try wiping down the tops of all of these. And we'll see if we can Sharpie on them so that we can mark which one goes where. Also, I'm not really sure where this goes, but I feel like this is probably not ideal for cooling or any kind of fluid flow in general. If you're wondering why all this is apart in the first place or why the motor went boom boom in the first place, it didn't so much go boom boom as much as it went tick 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 until I finally took things apart enough to realize something was wrong. More specifically, these are my main caps, or what's left of them. I took apart the rod caps thinking that I'd see something bad, and I didn't, so that's why I was a little confused until I took everything apart. Long story short, this is what was going wrong. The pistons all look like this on the skirt, and that is not how they're supposed to look. Even this side is a little worn, not nearly as bad. I don't really know what causes this. I don't know why the pistons are looking this bad, but this is how my motor came. I drove this like 200, not even 200 miles. I drove this like 100 miles and this is what I got. So this is what happens when you buy a car from Japan without really getting it inspected or checked out in any way first. Well, good thing that wipes off easily because I just realized I had that backwards. This is all exhaust and this is intake. There's 3 intake per cylinder and 2 exhaust. Off to a great start. Well, that looks pretty legible, so I think that'll do it on that. Just make sure of every one of these that I do get the actual little cap that goes inside of there. Alright, that should be everything off of the cylinder head. Yep, this should be all good to go. These pistons are pretty much shot. You can see how bad they are, but the rods, as best I can tell, are still good. So if you want some free rods out of a 4AG blacktop block, here they are. That or they're getting recycled. Alright, the table's a lot more cleaned up and the cylinder head is ready to go for tomorrow. I've got other components here that need to go get cleaned in the parts cleaner too, but we'll save that for another time. For now, let's just get the basics done. I'll see you tomorrow at the machine shop. This is Cardelli Motorsports, a great machine shop in the Bay Area if you ever need anything done. Steve, the owner of the shop, let me film here, but he opted to not be on camera himself, which is totally respectable. Just know that he's a really nice guy, and if you ever need anything done, he's super easy to talk to. Since I offered to help, he put me to work cleaning my own engine block. After a lot of grinding and a bit of steam cleaning the block, it was time to bore out the cylinders. If you've never seen this done before, it's a pretty straightforward process, but it does have to be done by somebody who knows what they're doing. You're basically just grinding out some very fine amounts of metal with some grinding stones, followed up by a honing process afterwards. The oil helps keep the temperature down and helps keep everything lubricated, and after so much grinding, you have to measure it. You can always grind a little bit more, but you can't add material back, so you can't go too far. I spent most of this day just putting parts in the parts cleaner, so on to day 2. Welcome to my workshop. It is now day 2 of cleaning up this block, and first things first, let's go ahead and remove the rear main seal from its housing. Well, that was easy. Next up is something that'll take a little bit more than 5 seconds. I'm going to be porting my oil pump. So what that means is that this spot right here, this spot right here, and that corner kind of in there, where the oil makes a quick 90-degree bend. We're going to be smoothing all those out with some carbide bits that I bought off of Amazon for like 10, 20 bucks. I don't know how well this is going to go, but I can't possibly make it worse unless I screw up a machine surface, so we're just going to go for it. If you want a more comprehensive guide on how to do this, I'm just going off of a guide I already found on the MR2 Owners Club forum, so I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to check it out. I'm bringing all this to the machine shop later today, so I kind of want to get this done so that I can put everything in the steam bath together and hopefully not make multiple trips for cleaning parts. That's the hope, at least. So I think I've got everything just about finished up here. Here's my intake port. It's still a little rough in the corner there. I got the bottom corner at least all cleaned out. Here is the exit from the main housing. It's a little rough, but it's better than it was before. I wish there wasn't that step at the bottom, but it's kind of hard to get my bit in there at an appropriate angle without resting the end of the bit, or I should say the shaft, on here. And then on the exit, same deal. It's a little rough of an angle, but I think in general, it's looking better than it was before. It really was just a complete sharp drop off here. Anyways, it's looking better now. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how this came out. It's not perfect, but I'm not really running any higher engine RPM than factory, so this should really just be an improvement, not a necessity. If I ever did this again, I would probably do a bit more of a perfect job, but at least I now know going into it what I'll need for it to make it a little better and what areas are going to be a bit troublesome to get to. And before these go off to the parts cleaner, let's take all the RTV gunk off. Well, it's not perfect, but it's better than how I found it. So now is my least favorite part, which is getting all the RTV gunk off of this oil pan and off of this windage tray right here. Although I was going to use my angle grinder for this, but I just spent about 20 minutes fighting with that nut there to get this other blade off, and I broke the locking mechanism for this angle grinder, so we're using a power drill instead. Now this whole video is about cleaning, and in general I don't really like cleaning, but I understand it's a necessary evil when restoring an old engine. However, grinding off old RTV is probably the part about cleaning I hate the most, which is to say it is the bottom of the barrel of this entire project. I'm happy that it's done, but I still don't like doing it, and I'm going to complain about it regardless. That said, once I had all that done, I headed down to the machinist, and I found out that all the bores were already done. So all that was left to do was deck the head, deck the block, and polish the crank. I show all that in a few seconds, but to be honest, the whole process took a lot longer than expected, and to be fair, it just takes a while to do this stuff correctly, and I'd rather be done right than be done quick. But I got home late, and when I came home, I unloaded everything, and that's why you see all the parts behind me, nice and cleanly bagged up, ready to go for this engine build. So with that said, it's 1 in the morning, I have less than a day to edit this video, and I gotta get to it. And I also probably should get to bed while I'm at it. But before I do go to bed, I said a few videos ago that I had a lofty goal of hitting 100 subscribers. Well, not only did we recently hit that goal, but we smashed past it. As of the making of this video, or this clip right now, I'm at 160 subscribers, which is 1 subscriber for every horsepower this car is supposed to make. I really didn't expect to hit that goal so soon and smash past it so much. Thank you all so much for watching these videos and subscribing. It really makes a big difference, and it makes it clear that I can make this content for you guys to watch. I'm in a unique position right now where I get to pursue YouTube for a little while. I can't do this forever, but if it works out, I probably can. And the more of you there are watching these videos, the more content I can make, and the better it'll look. So what can I say other than thank you? And if you're new here, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and leave a comment while you're down there. No, seriously, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback in the comment section lately, which is surprising for the internet, quite frankly. And I really do love hearing what you guys have to say. And if I don't respond to every comment, don't worry, that's not because I'm not reading them. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will come at you next week with this engine build firmly underway. And if not, don't worry, there's a lot of other things in store too. Thank you all so much for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.